Welcome to Omaha, Nebraska. We've got a great Big East showdown this afternoon out west. It's Creighton and Providence. The Friars coming in as a top 25 team. Matt Schumacher, Nick Baugh with you. Of course, the big storyline for the Friars, no Bryce Hopkins. Taking on a Creighton team today, Nick, that has had a couple of really close losses in Big East play.
Yeah, and they're certainly trying to get back to their winning ways. It helps when you get back in Omaha, Nebraska for that to be the case. But it always helps when you got some stars on your team, and that's what Creighton has. Baylor Shireman is playing the best basketball of his career, in my opinion. He leads the conference in scoring. You know what he can do from an assist standpoint, but I love the way he's rebounding the ball defensively. And we all know about the big man in the interior, Ryan Kalkbrenner, defending the rim and scoring at the rim. I'd like to see Creighton get him a little bit more involved with some post touches here today.
And on the other side, Providence without Hopkins, so it runs through Devin Carter, and Kim English told us we just need Devin to be Devin.
And Devin being Devin has been a heck of a player this season. He is shooting the ball, Matt, at a much higher clip from the three, and that's opened up every other part of his game offensively.
Well, coming up from Omaha, we expect a great crowd and a great matchup. It's Providence and Creighton right around the corner on FS1. Welcome to Omaha, Nebraska. A big-time crowd for this Big East matchup between the Creighton Blue Jays, fresh off a win against Georgetown, taking on a top 25 Providence Friars team looking to get back into the win column after a loss to Seton Hall. Hello again, everybody. Matt Schumacher, Nick Baugh with you. Delighted to bring you this Big East matchup. Obviously, the big storyline across the conference, Bryce Hopkins, the preseason All-American, out for the rest of the year. It's a devastating blow, Nick, for a guy that did so much for this team.
Yeah, and if you missed it, this was the play earlier this week against Seton Hall. Very awkward fall at half court. First of all, Bryce, if you're watching, our thoughts are with you, man. Everybody's devastated with this news. But in terms of Providence today, this is a big-time player that you are trying to replace his production. I mean, his resume speaks for itself. This is a guy that was a conference player of the year caliber type of player. And I'm nervous about Providence's ability to replace his physicality, drawing fouls, getting to the free throw line, and rebounding. Going to have to be a by committee type of thing for the Friars to replace Hopkins.
No doubt. As we take a look at today's starting lineups brought to you by Jeep, there's only one. Starting in place of the injured Bryce Hopkins is Corey Floyd Jr., his second start of the season. Meanwhile, the Creighton Blue Jays, how do they get Ryan Kalkbrenner involved without Bryce Hopkins on the floor? That's a big key.
Absolutely. You talk about a guy that shoots it better than 64% from the floor. He needs to get more conventional post touches. The guards need to get it in there, but Kalkbrenner also needs to seal a little bit harder and more physical when he gets opportunities.
And Kalkbrenner wins the tip for Creighton in the home whites. Providence in the road blacks with a white trim.
The matchup I am ready to watch is Devin Carter and Trey Alexander. And Carter is an elite defensive player.
And right away, it's Kalkbrenner to the cup on the first possession of the game.
And that's what Greg McDermott was telling us. So you have to find a place to go offensively is getting Oduro more touches in terms of playing without Bryce Hopkins.
And now Shireman followed his miss. What else is new? One of the best rebounding guards in the Big East. Gets it to Trey Alexander. That'll work.
Yeah, and what may not work is switching ball screens and getting Mason Miller switched on to Devin Carter, and that's what happened there. And Carter saw it and took advantage.
That's a good sign for Creighton fans because that
Creighton can get back to being smart with the basketball, but teams are heating up Creighton, being a little bit more physical with them, and Providence has that capabilities with how they're built.
Ashworth, no, the putback good by Kalkbrenner, just hanging around the rim at an early four. Shireman, a deep three. And now Ashworth's going to track it down. He tries from distance. Ryan Kalkbrenner.
If you're Kalkbrenner, you don't want to take the bait on taking a three early in a possession. Maybe he'll shut me up. Different times, you need that consistency to be there scoring the ball, because the one thing you could get is a little bit more shooting on the floor with Hopkins not on the floor.
Spread you out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Trey Alexander, pure with the pull-up.
Confident Devin Carter is shooting the three. made 34 threes now in the season. He made 35 all last season.
All of his percentages are up. 2-point percentage, free throws, 3-point. Friendly bounce for Trey out
to three. They have to make sure they're not taking too many. They got a switch. Oduro on Mason Miller. And a turnover.
Miller shaken up at the back end of the play. Alexander puts it in.
I love how Devontae Ticket-Gaines is playing. Aggressive, making plays on both ends of the floor.
Perfect from the floor to start. 4 for 4. Alexander so crafty.
His first attempt from three all season. Shot it with confidence and drilled it.
Lob to Kalkbrenner, too easy, and a nice touch by the 7-footer, who now has 11 after just...
It looked like Carter was gassed, and he wanted a timeout to get a break, and that's something that Kim English might have to pay attention to with that shortened rotation, to use timeouts for breathers.
Great feed inside to Kalkbrenner, courtesy of Baylor Shireman.
Another level, and my goodness, is he tough to stop.
Miller, an offensive rebound, and the left-hand putback is good.
Mason Miller has actually got the highest vertical. Not very good spacing for the Blue Jays there, but Providence doing a good job denying and blowing up some of these handoffs and ball screens with just denying it.
Shireman will not be denied, and
I think the ball's got to get to Devin Carter more. You don't want to get too predictable and too one-dimensional, but Carter has to have the ball for Providence offensively right now.
Inside to Kalkbrenner, who's gotten the rock all first half for the Blue Jays with
Ashworth.
Well, still, so far, no ruling yet from Tim Clockerty.
Yeah, Barron just crushed even Ashworth, but not sure what they're looking at here as Providence is leaving the floor.
With 0.3 of a second left, you cannot catch and shoot. Only a tip in is allowed, and so Tim Clockerty was all over that. Miller at 3, all over that to start the second half. Just the 4th made 3.
And those shots are going to be there with the drop coverage, but those are harder shots than you think.
Inside to Kalkbrenner, who had 15 in the first half. Counted in the foul.
Creighton on this possession from Trey Alexander. Ball's got to pop. Ball's got to move.
5 to shoot. Alexander, kick out. Shireman puts it in from downtown, his first 3 of the game.
There's not a lot of guys that can go make something happen right now for Providence.
And you felt like Carter needed the ball more than he got in the first half, as Shireman picks it off. Alexander, tough fadeaway, rims down. 13 for Alexander.
Got denied by Gaines, doing a good job of trying to make these handoffs difficult.
Ashworth, money in the mid-range pull-up.
Look at that pressure from Garway Dual, but not enough.
And a 20-piece for Ryan Kalkbrenner. Creighton just 1 for its last 8 from the floor.
Get Isaac Trout on the floor, see if he can take the lid off the basket, shooting the 3.
How about Trey Alexander in the mid-range?
Shooter.
Nick, you talked about it early in the second half. It felt like Providence lost that juice that we saw him have in the first half. It's back as Alexander responds, and he and Carter jawing back and forth. Watch out for this.
Deny Carter the ball, but he gets it anyway.
Carter with 23. Altered by Kalkbrenner and wrestled away by Shireman.
Got to balance it.
Under 10 to shoot. Shireman. Ticket-Gaines couldn't have defended it better. Shireman puts it in anyway.
Some shots here.
Kim English wants more pressure on the ball. Farabella left open. 5 to shoot. Ashworth, dagger, downtown. Pierre, the inbounder. Lobs it into Oduro. Oh, and he missed the layup. Second chance rejected by Kalkbrenner, and that might do it in Omaha in the Big East. And Creighton is going to come away with a gritty win, their first over an AP Top 25 team this season. Providence didn't make it easy. Trailed by as many as 18, cut it to 1, but Ryan Kalkbrenner had 22, Trey Alexander had 21, and the Blue Jays get it done. For Nick Baugh, Matt Schumacher, let's send it to LA with Mike Hill.